Okay, I'm unmuting.
Are we good?
Sure. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay.
How you doing on there?
Okay, we are back now in open session. This is a closing summary. We just came out of the closed session meeting that began at 5:06 p.m. and was held at the Worcester County Government Center Boardroom, room 1102, 1 West Market Street, Snow Hill, Maryland, 21863. The purpose of the closed session was to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction. Any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals, and to consult with counsel is to obtain legal advice under general provisions, articles 3-305B, number 1, and 3-305B, number 7. Members who voted to meet in the closed session include Councilmember Lee, Councilmember Fletcher, and Councilmember Lupkins. All in attendance for the closed session were Mayor Simpson, Councilmember Fletcher, Councilmember Lee, Councilmember Lupkins, Town Attorney Maureen Howarth, Town Manager Rick Pollitt, Police Chief McGee, and Administrative Coordinator Candace Ringaneri. The topics actually discussed to consult with counsel regarding personnel matter if needed, and to follow up to the comments from the last personnel discussion and vacancies on boards. Closed session ended at 5:51 p.m. Okay, now, do I have a motion to adjourn special meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn a special meeting.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Now, we are called to order the work session of the Mayor and Town Council, August 6, 2025, Worcester County Government Center, Boardroom, room 1102. Take a look at your agenda. We have an update on the docking policy. All right, and if you take a look at that in your agenda. Okay. First, you want to go over changes, attorney, or we can just take a look at each document. We're starting with the dock rental application.
Yeah, you wanted an updated dock rental application, so this was worked on with staff to have detailed contact information, detailed information about the slips. That's your first page, and then the dock rental agreement, something a little more in depth.
Can we go back to can we just start with the dock rental application? You, Councilperson Lumpkins, had a couple of things to change in that. In here, was that changed correctly?
We changed it to make next adjacent slip if that works.
Okay. And the durations allowed, we have for Bird Park, and I think we went through this, seasonally, off-season, yearly, monthly, weekly, daily, and day use. Daily means spending the night. And day use is just for day.
Sun to sundown.
Okay. Gateway Park, seasonally, daily, and day use. And Sturgis Park, seasonally, daily, and day use. Are there any other questions?
I have a couple of comments. I spent a lot of time growing up on the docks of Annapolis. And if you go to like the Annapolis City Government website, you go to services, you go down to the fourth one, you see maritime services. And they ask you to fill in like, your profile, your boat name, where it's coming from. Then they'll assign you stuff based on the size of the boat, where it fits best at the dock. This dock rental application, this paper, This is about 25 years behind the curve. This should be online on our town website. It says book your trip here. So let's just consider from the voting perspective, right? Like if I'm a voter sitting in Eastport, Annapolis, and I want to take my yacht, I want to have a big year in terms of ornithology. I want to see some birds. If I can't research the services of your marina, quote unquote, or dock online, then I might just say, oh, I know there's this really kind of remote, isolated river called Pocomoke River there on the Eastern Shore, but I'm not sure how to find information about it online. Oh, well, we'll skip it this year and we'll just go on further down the coast. If I see Snow Hill as more of a destination than Baker, just because of the river's flanked on both sides by state forest. There's nobody that lives along it almost all the way to Pocomoke. Pull up Google Earth, you might find 4 or 5 docks on the whole river. So this dock rental application needs to be, I feel like, online, printable. So that like if they wanted to print off their copy and almost use that as their permit to say that they deserve to be here. But that's, and also where they could put in their credit card information. And that way, if there's any damage to the dock, we just charge the credit card. Much like you check into a hotel room in Vegas, they have like a credit card, you get, because it's $500 deposit in case you ruin your food. Like that should be something that's just online, and you have to, like, so in Annapolis, you have to send your email that intends when you're going to be there, when you're not, when you intend to leave. And then they charge you accordingly. And then we could just assign them the slip number. So it could say like for Sturgis, it'd be S1, S2, S3, or for Bird, it'd be like Bird 1, Bird B2, B3, B4. And as long as they could see that from the river, as long as that sign wrapped around the top of the pylon, they could just basically do it online, pay us online, be on their boat, and go on their merry way. And that way, we don't have to worry about, did they make it to town hall by 5 o'clock? Did police got to come out here with an application or anything like that? Like, if we're good, we got to know our brand. And if we're going to market ourselves as kind of a destination, then we kind of have to move to where, like I said, if in a hypothetical situation, I'm an ornithologist, I'm sitting in Eastport, Annapolis, I'm pulling out my nautical charts, and I'm looking at them I'm saying, hey, there's a long, desolate river here. It's like taking a long, dark country road. What is available out here at Snow Hill? I couldn't find that online. Well, if I can't research it, then I'm probably not going. All right, I'm not going to risk it. So this and our rules and regulations saying you be able to print off too needs to be on our website. It just needs to be under services, maritime services. Is the pump house working? Can't refuel there. And those kinds of things need to be just readily apparent, because the people that are going logistically, just because of how far it is to get to us, are probably going to come from much further afield. So let's make it something that they can research, plan their trip accordingly, and then we might actually be able to pull some big dollar people from further away.
Isn't this already, is this going to be online?
Yes, absolutely. We would do that.
Are they going to be able to fill it in? Like,
I don't know the
Can you
technical.
fix
the
it like
document
that?
just can't be online.
We can do it, but if I give them it in Word, we can make it like a PDF that can be completed
That can
online.
be-
The print
Yeah.
person can print it, print it and write and scan, or if they want to complete it as a PDF and just fill in the blanks, that could be done too.
It's on the credit card information.
Yeah, I don't know what our capabilities are as far as taking online payments for that. Would that be an issue?
Could we move into the 21st century?
I mean, it costs money. Right, put that down online.
It's gonna probably
Can't
be
be done.
extra costs like the water bill that you can pay online with credit, that you can pay with credit
Credit
card.
card.
If it's that information that,
If we
it's
can do it with
the
the
same
web,
information.
we can
they're
do
not
it with
just-
the doc.
yeah.
Is that a possibility?
Yes,
It
I mean,
is.
and we take miscellaneous payments online.
Online.
Okay,
Okay,
sounds good.
all right.
And if they do pay with a credit card, are we gonna charge like a lot of places when you go play with a credit card or debit, they charge you
They
4%
charge you-
or whatever, you gonna charge an extra
It
for
is
that or
charged.
leave it like it is?
I mean, if we're,
Because I'm sure I'm gonna be asked.
if we're charging
Don't we
13,
do that
If
already?
it's the
We don't
service,
charge it, the service charge.
We don't,
Convenience fee.
service
We don't
does.
collect it, we don't charge it. It's a convenience.
it's a convenience, yeah,
okay, well,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
convenient,
Good question.
okay,
well,
okay.
no
So,
extra charge though.
if they're gonna spend 500 on a 2 month stay, they're not carrying about $4.
okay, so if this can be done, let's
Mhm.
look at what is gonna be on there, so that first one we're okay with. That first, the first dock rental application.
It needs to have payment type and I would hope to put like credit card and that kind of stuff on, because that's how, like, say somebody go for a leak of oil and stuff in there and they're, or if they damage the slip or anything, that's how we go after. You know, so it's like putting a deposit down on a hotel room or,
So the dock rental agreement would be online also, and they would be able to
Fill it in.
fill it in.
Yeah.
Is that correct? We could do that?
Sounds like it.
We would have to complete part of it because we assign the
Yeah,
slip,
that's a short.
we assign the slip.
We
so
assign the slip.
This has blanks, because it's for the town staff to like, put in the part that they are allowed to use,
They
put in the slip.
so with the way Annapolis does it is they require that you send an email requesting reservation.
So you could
And then
send the
we send
application,
that,
and this could be sent out for them
Yes.
back to sign.
and that way we can assign them the slip through their reservation request.
Do we have the slips all, you and,
Mary and I went, they have not been numbered and all yet, because I wanted to make sure everybody's on the same page, get everything done, and then they will be numbered.
did you go see, Randy and, Ed Phillips met together?
Mhm.
The two, because Randy's the president, the chair of the Fines and Fees, and Mr. Phillips is chair of the Board of Snow Hill. And they met, and they took you about, what, 15 minutes, 20 minutes
Yep,
to
we went
come
through- we went through
to
the
a
whole
final-
thing here together.
to a final resolution.
We were both sides in agreement on how it's gonna be. After that, we went down to the parks. Borough Park was number one. They got water and electric at 4 of those places down there. If 2 more boats want to come, they're welcome to come. They'll pay nothing because they had no water and no electric.
Mhm.
But if they just had one, like electric up to Sturgis Park, they only got electric and no water, they're still gonna pay the regular fee for water and sewer, water and electric will come.
Okay, and that's
They
in the
agreed to-
packet. Also, all the fees, the fees are also, that's all that they have decided upon.
So y'all didn't decide to, I don't see where, I thought we were charging for electric and water.
We are charging, it's gonna be a flat rate, just utility. Him and I both agreed, and so because I have no way of telling Mr. Lamberson that he used how much electricity this month that he's been there.
Right,
I
but I'm
have-
just saying, I don't see it in here.
Is it on here
It
in
it is
letter?
in there, what I'm saying, go here,
Oh, it says
Utilities.
including utilities, okay.
Including utilities.
That-
we'll charge you a flat rate, that's in there, that's going to include water, sewer and all.
Is that?
So for
Oh.
example,
Not sewer, but water and electric.
Okay, yeah, go through an example.
so it says rate type seasonal for an over 30-50 boat,
Yeah.
the fee is $150, $850, and that includes utilities. There's no added on charge, it's just rate 50. This is what you get, and includes your utilities.
And that's for the whole season.
That's the seasonal one, and then go down the chart and you see it for each.
Under the one,
Will be
that says rate 30 feet and under, correct?
Yes.
It says seasonal 650, including children. 400, including utilities, yearly $1,000. Now, something's wrong here, because that doesn't add up.
I see what you're saying.
That's, something's wrong there.
I would just say those are the rates that fees and fines and Mr. Phillips agreed to this week.
They may have agreed to
I will
raise
change them to whatever the council.
Whatever the Yeah, that's what we need. I mean,
The way I understood that is that, so for like the whole season, because if you look at the monthly, you get 250, right, over 30 foot. Let's just take that one as an example, right?
Okay,
And then if you move to like the off season, well, that's a whole bunch of months and it's only $500. So like it pays to buy in bulk there, if they're gonna park there off season. Yeah.
here's what I'm.
Yeah.
Add that thing, add the secret, the seasonal and the off season, and the year, add that thing. I think it comes to 1,350.
Mhm.
Add this over here, 650, 400.
That doesn't come to a,
Yeah, this should be 1,500 or
1,000.
some of them.
1,050.
It has to change.
Yeah.
So one way or the other.
okay.
so do you see what's,
I was in the meeting, can I just say, okay, as far as page number one, what Mr. Phillips and Randy agreed to was to do the different, rates for up to 30 foot. And then so the adjacent isn't going to, because the slips are going to accommodate up to 50 feet,
40.
50 foot boat, 40.
That's correct.
40.
So this is not going to read, if you guys agree, the size of vessel up to 30 feet, over 30 feet. It's going to be the different rates, but you don't have to rent the next adjacent slip because the slip is going to accommodate both sizes. Mr. Phillips went, and what's on there as far as the rates is what was in his original report.
That's correct.
And so, and that's, I thought you guys had agreed.
The
That
math
was good.
works for the first one.
But it's
And it's in his report, just rounded down. In the Board of
Okay,
Snow
so
Hill
the
report,
simple-
they just said,
The simple solution here to this is to change one of these figures. That may be what he brought to the table or what Randy brought to the table.
$1,050.
So,
That's what.
Can I look at something here, y'all?
yes,
yes,
yeah.
I think we'll mix it up a little bit.
okay, come on over, Randy.
Why don't you come out here and say that?
Yeah, you can come over here and.
I think this is a simple, it's just the two under over 30. Add up 850 to 500, you get 1350, which is there. On the other one, you add up 650 and 400, you get 1,000. You're just saying it should be 1,050, that's all.
That's right.
It's just, yeah, I don't think it materially, it doesn't materially impact the rates we're talking about, it's two go ahead.
Okay, so if we go
I
here,
mean, that should show $50 more in order, this plus that, to equal that just needs to show $50 more on that, see what I mean?
You want all of
650
it,
plus
right?
400, yeah, that's what you did over here.
would be 1,050, would be, and this here came to 1,350.
Yeah, that's right, so this equals that.
So just turn this to 1,050, it's,
You fixed it, yeah.
but you change this. to 1,000.
So, do you hear what they're changing, guys?
I caught that, yes.
Yes.
Are we all correct? I mean, just change that to 1,050.
Yeah, I don't think there was any philosophical reason.
So,
why it's left
I mean,
off.
you know,
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
it's a pretty good deal, so, okay.
That's a good deal.
Kill the messenger.
No, it's just, I couldn't understand this, I understand what you're saying.
Do,
Everyone-
Okay, are there any other questions
I do.
or
As the
concerns?
person has to draft it, I have questions, because it's
Okay.
not clear to me. On the application, where it says size vessel allowed, what was previously said is that each of these slips were based on 30 feet. And if you had a bigger boat and you needed 2 slips, you had to pay for 2.
This
Now
is
I'm
bigger
hearing
than
that
30
that's
foot.
not the case. And that we're sizing these for 50 foot. That means all this information needs to change, because for Bird Park, it says size of vessel allowed. It says 30 feet. Well, if we're allowing a 50-foot boat in a 30-foot slip, then
The slip's
you
40
shouldn't
foot.
say in this that you
My
can only have a 30-foot boat. That's not what you guys want.
my understanding is the slips are 40 foot, right?
Yeah, when we went down there originally, we were saying 30 foot.
The 40?
I allow 10 foot or so on each end of the boat, so you have extra.
So it shifts.
Then after we went down there with Mr. Phillips, the other day, we were looking at him, he said, well, we get a 50-foot boat here. In our lifetime, you might have one in your life that's gonna come here.
Exactly.
I'm just throwing this out.
I just need to know what you want
What?
to say size of vessel
Want to
allowed
say
in
one
this
here.
chart. I don't care what
Let's
the
go,
number is.
said in the 30.
If it's a 60-foot boat, you
Let's
need,
go with 30 foot and 50 foot, okay? I will have them arranged so they can be able to fit in there. I will have this, it's on the,
So should these all say, Bird Park should say no greater than 50 feet?
no greater than that, no,
Okay, Gateway should say only 30 feet.
only 30 foot,
And then Sturgis
Yeah.
Park should say what?
30.
The same as Gateway,
Bird.
or the same as Bird.
Same as Bird Park.
No
It should be
greater
30.
than 50.
No greater, it can't be any greater than 50. 50 is the biggest thing one can get. Sturgis or Bird, 50's it.
Okay.
And I want y'all to make sure you understand this now, because, Mr. Phillips and I talked about it. When you go here and you look at this, just so it's no misunderstanding, seasonal is April 1 through October 31st, okay? And it shows the rates up here. It's $8.50 including utilities, $6.50 including utilities. For the all season, because I do know it is one boat that is at Sturgis Park. And the gentleman's name was brought up. He said, well, he'll just have to be aggravated to have to go to Bird Park. After that, you can't, that's not transit. You gotta move. You have to go to Bird Park. If you want to stay the whole time, you have to go to Bird Park. I mean, it's right here.
Yeah,
It's in black and white.
it's the only one that's seasonal.
That's the only,
The only one that's yearly.
that's correct. That is correct.
Yes.
So that is where the gentleman will have to take his boat. And then like Mr. Phillips said, if he don't like it, he'll just have to go to Christmas or somewhere for that time of the year. You know, but
It's,
we both agree to it.
Okay. Have you measured them and marked them, numbered, or
I have not
numbered?
covered anything yet until I get all of this
All
good
this
to
stuff.
go.
Okay,
Then I will take it and do that and
just so we can, yeah.
as soon as it all passes, I will take and do it.
Okay,
And I still need to be doing it and then just say, makes it through the first reading and something, I've messed up something, and then we have to change and go back again.
okay.
I have one question, not even about, well, it's about docking, but it's not about this actual, but if we're saying the bulkhead up there is not safe, and we're going through this ordinance, how should we proceed? Like before passing this? Because if it's really not that safe and it needs to be fixed, we shouldn't have boats docking there
Okay,
anyway. So
I totally
what should
understand what you're saying.
The solution be for that?
I gave my opinion on the bulkhead. Okay? When Gillis and Gilbertson was here doing the other part, they looked at somebody else and said, yes, it needs to be replaced, you know, blah, blah, blah. Since then, others have looked at the bulkhead and they didn't see it how I did. All I do is give the suggestions. Okay? And the council or whoever makes the decision. Others have said, Mr. Phillips don't think it's that bad either. But in the meantime, other people has looked at this as well. And the bulkhead needs definitely repaired right now. As we said in the meeting, our last meeting we had, it's 25, whatever, it's out, it's made out of wood. It's out, uses light. It does need to be replaced. Now, how soon the money's got to be able to replace it, it's not gonna be cheap. And I've been told that that's not helping being like that with the boats and all that. That's not my call to make, whether we let them dock or whether we don't.
I sent an email to you this week. It said, asked, put that subject on the agenda. And is it time now to talk about that?
Yeah, it's all part of the dock policy.
Yeah, I had the same concerns that you had. If we are coming into the 21st century, and I'm all for it. And the people who have contacted me about it, they impressed upon me, and I don't know diddly. So let's understand that, okay? I don't know diddly. All I know, water's wet. I do know that, okay? But if that bulkhead is in the condition that they are saying it is, and the person is concerned even that so much so, people walking on it, we now opening up to, how do we find out so that we can make a factual determination of where that bulkhead is? And if it's in the condition that it's reported and was discussed here, I'm looking at the negative side now, not the neutral or the plus. If it's in that condition that it is reported to be in, and as dangerous as is reported to be, people called me, said, there's help to even get it fixed. I understand that the superintendent, I don't want to say, how do we find out for the council? We've got a crisis being presented, and I'm presenting it based on what hearsay, and all I know is water's wet. If it's in the condition that is reported to be, how do we make that determination or find out reasonably before we put all this other stuff out there of the condition and cost to correct?
I want to ask Paul's opinion, because Paul's actually an engineer.
No,
You were.
no. Paul grew up living on a boat,
You grew up with one boat. Studied engineering at Virginia Tech.
studied engineering at BNTech,
Okay,
escaped with a business degree.
okay. And School of
It's
Business.
not because I got a bad grade, it's just because I was doing parties.
So, so you've been down there with the DNR folks looking at the bulkhead.
Right, so should I?
This is your.
Okay, so I took it upon myself to call the gentleman, Matt Negley, who is in charge of essentially transient boater facilities for the DNR. I'd spoken with him. He came down last year. I met with him in Bird Park also, with also a gentleman, his name escapes me. I think his first name is Sam. He was in charge of the living shorelines, because part of Bird Park is living shoreline, and then there's really actually, most of it is, I would say, bulkhead. Bird Park is only down by the ramps at either end. Okay, the rest of it's living shoreline. So anyway, he came down to Sturgis. I asked him, what day was that?
Last Thursday.
It was the day after I had I came back to work from medical stuff, and he said, "Hey, Paul, I'll be there at 12:30." So he came down. So he was there. We were there about an hour and a half. Randy was with us for a half hour. So, he wasn't jumping off the bulkhead saying, "Oh my God, this is dangerous," and people are the bulkhead's not gonna collapse. No, the bulkhead's there. It has holes in it. And what happens, generally speaking, is, I mean, obviously it's wood, so it's deteriorating and its useful life is coming to an end. Parts of the bulkhead years ago, what was happening there is, and Randy can back me up on this and stop me if I'm saying the wrong thing. A long section of the docking, the boardwalk was replaced. Some of the stringers, and the stringers are what connects to the sill on top of the bulkhead and ties it into the ground so it can't fall out. Some of those were replaced, and then where there were blatant holes in the bulkhead were replaced from the back. Okay, so that's what was done before to increase the longevity of the thing. Well, now, Matt Negley is the fellow's name. He definitely said, we need a bulkhead. We should have it replaced. So initially, we were looking a little bit at Gateway, so it's called, but really what the main part we're looking at first is from the bridge to the pavilion, the main part for Sturgis, which seems to be obviously the busiest part and it gets the most boat traffic, right? Nobody said it was like, at no point did he say, "Oh my God, don't let boats come in here." And I've had my boat down there and looked at it. I don't look great, but it doesn't look, it's not gonna fall off the edge of the earth. You know, it's there.
That's good to know.
One thing I will say is we don't know how deep it is there. So that is an engineering concern to figure out how far down that bulkhead actually goes. So we talked about it, and here's what I can let you guys know. And I was just gonna do it, but I want you guys to tell me I can do it. September 18th is the deadline for that grant, the maximum for that grant. And transient boating, by the way, is good. They want boaters to come. So if I say we're doing this to get more boaters to come, that helps. That's a big thing. That's like being in a just community for other things. So transient boating, they want people to come. They want to attract tourists for all that stuff. So it's $500,000 maximum grant. That project's gonna cost way more than $500,000. I said to him, do I need to have estimates or good faith estimates? And he said, no, I've been here, I've seen it. You need a bulkhead. So essentially, and all this is conversational. He didn't write this in an email, but he's always been totally square with me. He wants us to have a new bulkhead. Okay, so it's a $500,000 max. With a fit over that is a 50% match. So let's say this whole project cost $1 million. We still got to come up with 250,000. Which maybe there's another grant, or maybe, you know, I don't know, we'll figure something else out, like we did. So we did, right? So his advice was to apply for them. First, we talked about just applying for engineer. Then after we talked about it, he said, apply for the whole thing. Apply for the whole thing. What may happen is we may only award you the engineering. So let's say we give you $100,000 for engineering. Then when you reapply the next year, now we have the numbers and they're within 12 months. Like it's not an old
I
stuff.
still move.
Yeah, I'm glad because so, I think, did I say it all? I think I said it all.
You said it, got through.
I rest my case. Like I got the guy to come down. He's a good guy. We already even talked about Bird Park and him coming back for that. Unfortunately, like many people in the state, he now is from like Deep Creek to Snow Hill. He's the whole state for bulkheads and docks and things like that. As far as the pumping station that you mentioned earlier, we've already looked at that. That doesn't seem like that's gonna be that hard to deal with. Get. It seems like the ladies like just apply for it.
Yeah.
And we'll get it. But again, that's,
That's not 100%.
not, well, yeah, nothing, of course, it's 100%, right?
May I move the motion?
There's no, we have to just come to consensus.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what works.
I can just apply for it, you know, just like, I was gonna do it anyway. I was surprised you guys was like, hey, I applied for this grant, you know, and this is, I've done it with other grants.
Okay.
That everybody's been happy with, so,
Okay.
little things. And that's it, that's what he
Mark, what
said,
do you think?
that's what he said.
It's not going to flat while somebody walking.
No, it's,
I'm not gonna do that.
it just looks funky because it.
It's not.
I was just down at Shad
No.
Landing today, and they're getting a new marina and bulkheading.
So
And
this is what he told me. Yeah, Shad Lane is getting completely revamped. And then he said maybe next year or sooner after that, then, what's it? Milburn Landing.
Melbourne.
And that's just a pier, I think, of it.
Okay.
They'll get there. So he was pretty stoked. He's like, yeah, he goes, basically it boils down to if we get the money, you can get the money. If we don't have the money, you don't get the money this year. It's kind of how, I found that, like with the Sturgis Park Bathrooms grant, that's what they told me. If they had the money, we'd probably get it this time. And we're just waiting for them to.
But the one thing you said that is very important, I think why this piece of the conversation was relevant to the discussion on the rates is if we were going to be talking all this about the rates and the policies, if the conclusion was the bulkhead's not safe anyway, then what are we doing? So
Right,
there's no recommendation that.
nobody said,
Rent this.
and the only
slips.
in-town expert I can say
Yeah,
that to be an
that's what we need
expert
to
on
hear.
that would be Kevin
Mhm.
Brown, because he is condemned for bucks before. And I don't know if he said he was condemning or what, he just
No.
said.
Yeah.
What he said was, it needs to be addressed right away. The bulkhead has failed, and he says, I have condemned them thousands of bulkheads in Ocean
Right.
City,
Yeah, I heard it.
is what he said.
Yeah.
And then,
He said that to me.
he said that was correct. He didn't say it's gonna just, all he's saying is the bulkhead needs to have something done to it now.
So, and don't wait, the last thing, just so you guys know, I took it all the way like I usually do. I said, well, what if this, I don't think this is a $500,000 job, what if it's $1 million? Can we do it in phases? He said, of course, nobody likes to do it in phases because that doubles the construction,
Right.
But
pre-construction
it's
cost.
possible.
But it's possible, or we hunt and peck for something else, you know what I mean? Maybe, this division, these are the guys who do docks and bulkheads. This is what they do. So, yeah, sadly, it's getting completely redone.
Completely.
And it's kind of nice already, a lot of it, but so,
Because he did say, Paul, he can possibly get money out of this fund over here, money from this one here, more than just one, one place if they had to. or
What, Matt?
Yeah.
no, he was saying that. I think somebody else was alluding to the fact that they maybe Mary Beth Process or
Right.
something that was money from somewhere else, but what Matt said to me is like, he didn't know where. Because Kevin said something about emergency fund.
He said it was a month,
And
that's,
I asked Matt Negri, and he's like, I don't know what to talk about.
well,
So that,
that comes from all this comes from the federal government anyway, a lot of it's been cut, to what your state gets, and that's why that's not really,
Anyway, I just wanted to know I did that and I'm already working on it. And if that's what you guys want me to do, I mean, I'll get that figured.
Yeah, well,
It-
it sounds
I
like
think
there is.
It should be pretty
consensus
easy
for
application,
that. Yeah,
especially since he said I don't need estimates because he was here.
okay, that's great.
It saves a step.
I'm still gonna be super anal retentive as I always am, but
Right,
that's what I gotta do.
yeah, well, thank you. for
And that's,
that.
so I hope that helps with this.
so as far as it goes with the docks and all that Sturgis marketing thing. This, that we have come to agreement on, their side and our side,
Right,
has nothing to do as far as it not being following through with this. Because once they start working on it anyway, nobody's gonna be able to be there anyway.
Right.
Whether
right,
it be 3 months or 3 years. While they're working on it, you can't be there. So you can still get all this in place and use it.
And then
And then if you
use
say, well,
it.
man, this is getting bad, a year and a half now, it's still ain't done, these have stopped, Sturgis Park,
right,
until something's done.
right.
And if we've already developed a reputation for transient voters, then we can advertise an entirely new facility. You know, and in keeping with what you asked me previously about, power
Makes
stations,
sense.
power stations. He talked about it, I'm pretty sure he said that, you know, that's all part of the situation. So, because the utilities are there, that's really an electrician and a plumber coming in.
It said that since I left for
So I tried to ask and ask every possible question.
I think that when this is completed, it will be a big asset for most of
So good.
for the town.
It'll be wonderful.
I've been to many towns like Snow Hill by boat as a kid,
Mhm.
up the Hudson, up towards the Great Lakes, all through Connecticut River and Mystic River, Newport. Now, some of those towns are far, they're big, but a lot of little towns like Snow Hill, where people come with their families, you know, and, you know, and most of those people are on 26 to 40-foot boats, which is exactly what we want. So,
Okay, okay, perfect. All right, now, for you,
Are we fine to bring this back at the next meeting? I've got one fee adjustment to make. And, the size of the boat change to make, but anything else, or
Anything
I'll
else?
bring them
Oh,
back to
good.
you.
for the ordinance group. You good? Councilperson Fletcher, you good?
Number 11.
Number 11.
Page.
Yep, yep, that's it.
Only that's. I will read you, John. That was a thing.
Overnight parking is prohibited, is that?
Yeah, she talks about boat owner shall be responsible for all repairs to the boat slip if the damage was anyways caused by them. Well,
This.
That's why I'm
It's
referring to
fucking-
our-
we know we have for example, we have a brand new boat dock and come in and smashed in and it was smashed in slip 3 and your boat was in slip 3. Maybe someone saw them crash into the bulkhead. You know, so it's gonna be just the way you prove any incident, if you have evidence of it. I don't know if any of our cameras are down there, so we would check our cameras too. To deal with it if we saw someone damage property.
Proofing
I tried
and
to
make sure.
try to get all your suggestions from one of our last work sessions.
But for our design here, it looks like, where it says, jumping or diving off from town dock. It looks like an L instead of an I on that, but it could just be the font
On the no jumping one?
on the.
Yeah, it looks a little
Or
blurry.
diving?
Yeah.
On the J here.
Yeah, I don't know that, Piers.
Piers.
P.I.
Oh, it looks like an L.
Yeah.
I.
I think it's just low red.
It's just where he had the R's.
It has a, it might be a spit, no, it looks like an L.
Yeah,
It'll-
because
it'll-
look over top of it.
Well, it's just that it's blurry because of the reproduction, but I think the original, I think the original.
Oh, you think it's just blurred?
It is.
I think it'd
I
be
mean, it's
fine.
not like the eyes in diving.
Right, it's not,
not.
it's a difference.
It's just low resolution.
Yeah, if it was shorter, it would be, yeah. When we get them, they'll be right.
Down to significant with the first eye.
If it's not, we're getting, we'll tell them it's done messed up, they got to do them again.
Okay.
I think it's just a way to transpose on the paper.
And it'll be about 2 weeks before we get them.
2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, anything else?
And they're actually gonna be that yellow, that bright yellow background.
Yes.
Yeah.
What you see right here, I got him, Rick wanted to see this, so everybody can see it before we told him, and he sent this yesterday. And they've already been on.
And we like the one with the boundary,
Yes, one just like this. is what it is.
around it.
And it's $490.
And how many we having?
10,
Yeah.
and 49 a piece, that's shipping and all.
Yeah. So how many at each?
4 stores, 2 at Gateway.
Okay. All right,
And as soon as I get them, I'm going to put them up.
yes, gotta have them,
And,
because those kids, the teenagers that flipped in the kayaks,
so everybody's on board with this right after what we did.
everybody's good?
Okay, so you will have this for Tuesday night?
Tuesday night. Okay. Sounds good. Okay, number 2, Colburn Lane annexation proposal. Mr. Pollock?
Or I could do that. This, just basically an update. We talked about this before. As you recall, when Summerfield came in and there was a huge annexation that took place with that project, when the project was withdrawn, there was a de-annexation. Unfortunately, the de-annexation map continued to show the 3 schools on Colburn Lane and the property where the town maintains a well were left on the zoning map and gave everybody the impression that those properties are still in the town limits. They weren't. And as you all know, you recently went through an exercise to correct the zoning map, which then put all of those properties back out in the county, including our well site. Well, as you know, we're also deeply engaged in a project to install a backup power generator at that well site, for which we've been approved for a grant from the state. And we're going to actually need to have that property in the town limits if we're going to be able to qualify for the grant. So since there's only the 3 properties that are in the county is the only other property owner besides the town, we're proposing that the town annex those lands back into the town limits so that we can protect our grant. I've reached out to Weston Young, the county administrator, and I've talked to Todd Ferrante, the school board president. In fact, that's why I was a little bit late tonight. Todd called me right as I was getting ready to leave. Todd believes that there's not going to be any issues, but his board naturally has questions. They just want to know about things like first responders, police and ambulance and that sort of thing. Also, taxes and water and sewer fees. As it turns out, of course, they won't be paying taxes anyway. The property's taxed them. As an in-town property, they'll be charged the regular water and sewer rates. If they stay out in the county, their water and sewer rates would be doubled. So there's another motivation for the board to come in. What I'd like to propose is that since this is entirely for our benefit, it doesn't really matter to the county whether they're in town limits or not. I would like to have your blessing to have the county commissioners submit the application for the annexation. But we would carry all the heavy lifting for it. We would take care of any surveys required. We would waive the fees for the application process, and we would basically handle all the work on their behalf, whereas they are the actual applicant. We would take care of getting it through the process so that we can get the property back in the town limits, protect our state grant. And as I say, we believe it'll be to their benefit to be in the town limits, not only for the water and sewer rates, but also for the first responders. So what I was looking for tonight was just some consensus from you that I can go to the county and say, we need to do this, we'd like to do this, and we'll carry on, we'll cost the county to agree to apply for the annexation.
I don't have any problem with what you're saying. I just want to go back, refresh my memory. We had some concern last meeting about this annexation. What was it? You recall?
Just that when it was de-annexed, the maps that came out of that process didn't reflect what was done. the map still showed that these properties being in the town as opposed to being back in the county. And for however long it took, several years, I guess, the impression was these properties were already in the town.
I remember the discussion, but I thought it was something. And did you raise any questions on this? Do you recall?
I think I do know one question that I had raised was, are all the maps gonna be the same?
Yes.
Like the zoning, the voting district map, with it all? Because according to the last map that I do know, for voting, it still goes all the way out there where, we have recently stopped the trash pickup,
Mm-hmm.
but those addresses are still on the voting part.
Then those
So
maps need
that's
to
a
be corrected
question,
as well.
yeah, so that's what I would, I was wondering, are all three maps coincide with each other?
Well, they should. The town line should be, the
Yeah.
town limits map, the zoning map, and the election district maps, all should be the same.
Right, but when you see it on the voting part, it still goes
We'll need-
that
we'll
far.
need to fix that.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
Yeah,
That's what it was. And
Because
Lorraine
I
had
asked,
some input.
was it,
Lorraine, you remember what your input? I'm just trying to
yeah.
read.
No, I said we should definitely, I think town staff is experiencing, an error from the past that they had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
And that everybody is committed, to trying to make sure that all the maps are correct once this is done. So.
In fact,
zoning
I
map's
brought the
gonna be
new corrected
updated.
zoning map with me tonight because we'll need everyone to sign it. So that we can then reproduce it, have it as our official map, so you don't.
One question though, so, okay.
Okay, one at a time, one
Yeah,
at a time.
Mr. Day.
No, I call on people, okay? Mr. Lee?
So at this point, the map that we want us to sign tonight, is it congruent with the other two maps?
Well, it's not got anything to do
Not
with any other map. This is our official zoning map,
Okay.
and it's the true corrected map.
Okay.
That's been passed and adopted by all of you, and it's in the code now. We just need to sign the map. But this is the actual true zoning map,
Okay. So,
but it's only for zoning.
the other two, because that's why I got messed up on this before when the discussion was.
Apparently we'll need to go back and look at the official election district map to see if that accurately reflects the way things are right now.
But you're on top of it, that they will be corrected to be.
We will definitely look into both, not only the official map of the town boundaries, but also the map that shows the election districts.
So and that's the primary one, I think that, if I recall, Ann was concerned about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't tell you. how that's
Councilperson
gonna
Fletcher,
happen,
you
but
have
we can
another
fix it.
question?
No, that's just what I wanted to know, make sure we were having all of the maps.
We'll do that.
Showed it.
We can make sure of that, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, number 3, Back Street Bikes. There, in your packet, there's a letter from Stephanie Hawley and Dale Hendricks, with Back Street Bikes. And as you have read that, it is talking about using the train station for their backstreet bike organization. They are 501(c) nonprofit. And they're interested in locating their headquarters and shop in the train station. And then they have their presentation, which you all heard. And we need to make a consensus decision on whether we want them to be located at the train station. So Councilperson Fletcher, you want to start with your ideas or?
I don't think they should be located inside the train station.
Okay.
I I still feel like the train station should be, I mean, we went through, making documents of still renting. I still feel like the train station is a good place, even though it is the bikeway trails, it is in
Right.
where the bikeway
Yeah.
trails is gonna be.
It is.
But I don't think it should be a place where we house bicycles and fix bicycles. What I do have that, I don't know if it could be recommended, if they put a shed or something on the outside, it still would be a good place if the tracks and stuff do actually come here to town and they be a place, have a shed or something out there where they can have it. But right now, I don't feel that they should be inside the train station.
Okay, Councilperson Wilkins, what do you think?
I know they ain't got money for a shed. I agree with the commission. I know we just went through a whole discussion on rental properties for the town. And we sent, basically what the price was for if we wanted to rent that building. My other thing is are we gonna move voting out of there? Because I know that we can move the committee meetings out of there. They can go down to town. But where are we gonna do voting? Is my other concern. I agree with their mission. I want to give more help like Gil. And I understand it's right on the bikeways and it makes laws. I know ideally it's not the property they want, but we're not made out of properties here. So I have some concerns about just handing over the historic fire department. I mean, if nothing else, we still have to charge for the electricity. There's a bathroom there, that's sewage, and there's water, if you take into account. And I know that we would have to at least charge for the operational costs, those utilities. You know, not to mention whatever upkeep might need to.
I think you'd have to have a lease.
Yeah,
And there could be a lease amount, but then also all the extras.
Yeah.
That would need to be reimbursed as well.
so I agree 100% with their mission. I love the mission. I'm not. Like I said, I just wish the train station was bigger. We could give a portion of it, that'd be great, but it's a very small space to begin. And I know they're working out of a storage unit, but they're on Whit Road, which is where they keep their spare bikes. They don't have a lot of.
I think they, the storage unit, they just lost. I talked to Stephanie today.
They need more sponsorship for the mission. They need to reach out and manufacturers. Huffy, those kind of guys.
I know that she did say their business was picking up. They have a lot of bikes. I think they had a donation of bikes, not money, but a donation of bikes.
Yeah, I agree with their, I love what they're doing.
All right, Mr. Lee, what do you think?
I spoke to Mr. Hendricks yesterday at the National Night Out. And he's now aware that this was putting back on the agenda.
Yeah, I talked to him.
He was not aware that it was being put back on the agenda.
No, he asked me about it. And,
May I finish?
they put, no, let me just interject this. I also talked to him. And he, said that, I explained to him why it was on the agenda and he knew exactly what it was. What was going on.
What
Okay,
is,
go ahead.
what is that? What did you?
He knew exactly that we were going to talk about it tonight to make a decision.
He did, well, like I said, when I spoke to him yesterday at the National Night Out, he did not know about it when I spoke to him. This issue of the train station, I don't know how to approach it, council. But I would ask that in some fashion, make some decision about this historical piece of property. For this reason. There is not one program in Snow Hill that speaks to the African American community culturally. Not one. Not one. And the linkages, our linkages are being depleted. So I'm going to appeal to council that you give every consideration of thought to these last vestiges. There's only one memorial out in front of the library. That's almost criminal. When you look at it from a point of people who have contributed so much to this town. That's almost criminal. We are taking proposals that are coming through to support, and one comes to mind quite naturally that we're looking at now. These proposals that state money in particular, that is to support this deficit, is being used to support other programs that have no connection to the African American community whatsoever. None. It's almost like rape. Now, I know when I speak with passion. So I'm not angry or pointing fingers at anyone. Speaking as a representative of this community who am I representing at this table or any other table that I sit at. So I don't know how to move it forward, and I don't think it's fair to just keep bringing these things back to the table, red herrings, back to the table, keep on talking about. So, I'm asking if I may defer to or raise a question to you, Rick. We've got these challenges that we want to recognize, if we want to recognize the cultures in the community. How do we go forward to begin to realistically look at that cultural recognition and diversity in our community so that there's a balance?
Well, I think there's,
How do you go about it?
I think it's two separate conversations. The reason this is on the table is because the town was approached by Backstreet Bikes looking for a place to rent. They knew the town owned this property and asked us if we would be willing to rent it to them. That's the only reason it's on the table. And because there was no decision made after their presentation, the mayor wanted to wrap this up. She had a sense that there was not overwhelming support to go forward with it. And tonight she was just looking for the means to give a reply to the Backstreet Bikes. Now, what you're talking about is certainly central to the soul of the community, and there needs to be that
Well, that's my
that
question.
motivation.
How do you do
It needs to come from the community. It can come from the leadership of the community, but that's what I'm saying is it's entirely appropriate for the community to adopt that as a vision and something that needs to have our energy and our attention. But that wasn't what was on the table tonight.
I kind of put that aside to get to that.
Right.
Okay, so then the realistic answer, that it comes back to this in one way that may get resolved, that as we go forward with the comprehensive plan, that this is a discussion that we should be having there.
Well, you touched the subject when we were talking with the African American Heritage Society about the Willow Street property. And there was a pretty good conversation that started from that issue about whether that property was someplace where the town could partner with an agency representing the minority communities to do exactly what you're talking about, recognize something with historical significance that presented a cultural link to our past, to a time when we weren't getting the attention it should have. So those types of projects, they can either be generated by the community, or they can come from you all as the elected leaders of the community to get that discussion underway.
Okay, so let's take the short one first. To start the discussion, and I'm gonna recommend, if it's proper, that to the council for consideration, to begin to start that discussion in terms of cultural diversity as a priority in some fashion, to begin that discussion. Now, tell me now how to get that moving forward.
Well, you have your constituents that you serve. You've got every opportunity to beat the bushes in the up and down the streets, to contact people that you feel would be interested in that cause or just organize. You know about organization, getting people organized.
But I wanna come through, okay, so you said the council, but if the council.
No, I mean, each of you individually as elected leaders of Snow Hill.
Yeah.
Each of you individually could adopt that as a cause and go about making.
I would, because I don't want to.
Okay, I need to get back to the agenda, okay? It's the back street lights response, and so I think I'm hearing from you that you do not approve of this consensus wise. Is that correct?
No. I wish we could find.
I
somewhere
wish we
to
could
do
too.
that. Just the train station is just not.
Not the spot.
So we
Would
could
you
send
agree
them,
with that?
we could
We'll
send
send
them a
them a
letter
letter.
saying we wholeheartedly agree with your mission. We're excited about.
We
what you-
absolutely
the service
do.
you're providing. We wish you well, but we don't feel that this piece of town property is the appropriate location at this time.
At this time.
And maybe to say if there's any other way we could support you. The town is welcome.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
And I think at the last meeting, so that the record's clear. I totally agree with the recommendation that my colleagues are making now and off the suggestion, and I want to renew that. Why not offer them for consideration that facility in Bird Park? I know that the flooding issue up there, but again, Randy, I think I asked you this before when this came up. Is that, what was your determination? What did you say?
Just when people have the park rented and stuff like that, some of them do have chosen to use the area that they want, which is a concession stand park. They have that, and if they're gonna be there, then they might move all their stuff out, so these people can, I'm sorry.
Can I ask a question? How often do we rent the train station? So just ballpark.
I guess this, since July. Let's see, July. Since January, we probably rented it out, I don't know, 8, 9, I can't tell you. Sometimes, I mean, it's day after Friday and Saturday, like it is at Sturgis. And then you don't have them 2 or 3 weeks. Then they have a baby shower there, and they got a retirement dinner or something other for somebody or whatever. It's sometimes a lot, well, and sometimes it's not. It just depends on.
What kind of input does the council have with the town museum? Because if we're talking about inclusion and a cultural narrative of the history of town,
Okay, we're getting off
yeah,
the,
that would be.
we're getting off the agenda. All right, let's focus and get back to number 4, updates on speed bumps and basketball courts. So who can talk about speed bumps? Chief?
Chief, right? Chief's got it.
Damn thing.
Speed bumps, slow down bars.
Thank you.
So, Randy and I talked, we were trying to, wait before we got over the special events, plus another combines took up a lot of our time. Us moving to our new building has taken us some time. We're still not there yet, but, we certainly need to have the weather to break. We'll identify, that's what our plans are next week, to identify exactly where we want to put them. And then, in the essence of time, we will make sure they're installed as soon as possible. Thanks.
Good.
Thank you.
I'll
If it's any way possible, if we wait till we get Chief moved, all them moved in down there to the new place.
Yeah.
That's gonna take us a little bit of time.
Yeah,
And I know they got some time.
we got a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, but you-
Okay, basketball courts. Paul?
Wait for Mr. Lake.
Sure.
Oh,
No. You didn't have to leave.
There, so I, printed out the estimate
He's
for,
coming back.
Yeah.
well, I mean, I'm sorry, for everybody to take a look at. That estimate covers. I'm just gonna wait,
Yeah, go ahead.
because Mr. Lee's gonna want to know. So, no, so that estimate Randy gave me, that was the estimate to, not to resurface. This was to redo the course. But tear it up and new courts, new fence, all that jazz, right?
Right?
And then the second number is if they just, I think, I'm not looking at it, but I believe the second number was for, I don't have my glasses, so it's not gonna make a difference.
That's the first number?
First number is for like the cost of repaving and redoing. The second number is for regular striping, and then the third number was for the fancy stuff like Berlin has, right? Yeah, so the multicolored type of thing.
I think it's $159,000.
Yeah, for the top, yeah, for the expensive. So, that's that. I'm worried that I thought that we were talking about maybe. Someone said to me something about relocating them to another spot in Bird Park. This is
Yeah.
Bird's talking. So I don't know.
Yes,
if that's-
yes, I
Is
think.
that you? I don't know who.
No,
Right.
we were just looking at a higher
Good call.
brand at one point.
Because I thought we talked about if we redo them there, but we still flood, that we don't want to ruin, what's
That was the
phrase?
conversation,
Throw
that
good
if
money
we're
after
gonna
bad.
start from scratch and build a nice new basketball facility, that we should look at other places in the park where it'd be more secure because of the condition of the flooding and the ground underneath it, and that sort of thing.
So I will tell you, in that park, in Public Works building and at the sewer plant, the water has been 1.5 feet inside. Absolutely. Man, it floods all the way across the Market Street,
Yeah.
all the way to Market.
So in terms of the basketball court, in terms of big picture, again, I talked to Matt Negley, the bulkhead guy.
Okay,
We've talked about that before. I had Nick Bradley from DBF, I met with him to discuss the different parameters that were put forth by the original DBF flood abatement study, Unfortunately, some of the things that they talked about doing aren't gonna work anymore, whether or not the pipes have sunk or the river's risen or whatever the case may be. Some of the openings that go into the river don't appear to be above the river, even at a low, like a tidal event.
It's gonna be down now.
Right, so, December is when those particular grants come up. So we've already provided, Chris Derbyshire, the head honcho for, GMB for Snow Hill. He has all this study, stuff like that. And he and I, in the engineering meetings, briefly discussed looking into that. And I have in my notebook already at our next engineering meeting, to say, just to put a bug in his ear about, hey, we don't want to wait till the last minute on this. Of course, based on whatever, we all decide, people who decide things decide. I will just, I know he probably hasn't had a chance to look back. He's kind of played it short with us. So that's where we are with that, and we're trying to still figure out what we can do now. You guys have heard my spiel on so when I talked to Nick, some of the drainage, so in Bird Park, there were, by the gazebo, and then, what's the road called that goes all around the park? Ring Road or something?
It's 3 of them there. I'm just talking about.
So if you go around and the boat ramps are this way, and then you come in on your right, is that like the river, kind of the little pond thing? And then on the left, there's another drainage thing there. And those have pipes that go out to the river, okay? They're kind of low. And those things evidently are full of sediment.
You talking about where
We
the
get them out.
Yeah, right on this side of the bridge, right? And then the bridge also has, like a gate underneath it too. So this stuff all has to be kind of addressed. A basic solution would be is there a name for the big circular grass? I just always call it the dell. Well, let's call it I'm gonna call it the dell just because it's what it looks like to me. It's like that dell. If that was regraded a little, that would make that more usable. But as you come in the park, you'll note that there is a storm drain that's always flooded on the road. And that's river water, because that's the drain that's below low tide. And then that water sometimes when it's heavy will run over and sit next to the bulkhead, right? So I've been talking to those guys to see, well, I don't even know if we're legally allowed to drill scuppers through the bulkhead to let that run off, you know, and but there could be an MDE or DNR runoff problem with that. So anyway, there's a lot of variables involved and we need the new engineers to make an assessment. And before we would replace the vegetables where they are, but as Randy's saying, the whole park is.
I can show pictures. I mean, I've sent pictures to DBF. They said, what? I said, this is how it is. Not even a nor'easter, nothing like that. Just a regular abnormal tide. The wind had to come out. We had 3 or 4 days of rain and the wind was out the northwest. Whatever blows up that river, 3 days later it's gonna come back down that river. And that on Market Street, the storm drains go and comes right across the road. Underneath that bridge you're talking about.
Yep.
That's where they run. You're not gonna change that. They can do whatever they want. They're not gonna change that. They gotta have the water from, unless they reroute the water where the storm drain's going, you know.
Yeah, we walk
You know,
all
the
the
detention
ditches.
ponds that Paul's talking about. I'll put them by down, but first year I came here, they're not put in right. You don't take and put them retention ponds in there like that, like they had, and they're like a rain garden, is what they are.
Yeah, there's, you know,
And
there's
they
cattails.
put storm drains in there, thinking being at the low spot, they're gonna help get it out, blah, blah. That's lower than what it is out there,
Yes.
a lot of it, so that's not gonna work.
So you're saying that there's no really any high properties
It's nothing, no, I'm telling you,
that we could move?
Mayor, I'm telling you, I had seen it flooded. Not once. We had brought all of our stuff out of the chicken plant, where we call the chicken plant where that used to be back there,
Mhm.
and carried up where the police department's wanting to build the police department at, because I've seen it all over me with tires and rims on the equipment back there. And right today, we have a storm coming, the trash truck, everything's leaving out of there,
Mhm.
if we don't have it on our yard. And if it's on our yard, and I know it's gonna be, we're gonna take it out of there.
So I look at the way that the engineers may have to look at this program as to like making the park more usable. I don't know. My assessment, and I've been living here that long, 3 years, I'm like, we may have to accept that once in a while it's gonna flood. You know, because it's a
Right.
park on a river. It could be, you know, unless they raise the whole thing up, which, oh my goodness, I can't even
Oh,
imagine.
yeah, that's,
And then you raise that up, that water's gotta go somewhere.
so as
It's gonna go
DBF
around.
had 5 steps.
Correct.
And we were looking at like the first and the second.
Well, the first one was maintenance, which DNR won't pay for, and that was like jetting, we can do, and then.
Which we can do.
And
We
inflate
have to jet
flappers
it,
and stuff.
probably, we probably jet it.
Have you done it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
That pipe be slam jam, it takes forever to get through it.
okay.
Yeah, so I think actually, we just have, like, from where I'm sitting, I think we just need to see what GM.
Yeah.
Well, we know it's
GDP,
gonna
ABC, yes, what they say,
Yeah.
I guess they have a
Yeah.
plan, and I can provide them with whatever other information I have.
And it's easy to tell as far as when it needs to be jetted. Because if you see all that flooding, that means it's not blocked up, because it's all coming in from the river. If it can come in, it can all go out. So when it don't go out, then we go ahead and jet it.
Just to add to the conversation, we have not withdrawn at all or diminished our enthusiasm to go forward with the basketball courts. In fact, Carl Anderson, who you know,
Right.
now works for the Department of Commerce, Governor Moore. He contacted me at the municipal league and said that Governor Moore came to him and said, I don't think we're doing enough for rural Maryland. I want you to travel around the state and go to the rural areas and ask them what their needs are. So we met with Carl. And the main thing that we told him about was the bird park and the basketball courts. There were some other things, but they were like our highest priorities, and he seemed to respond well.
I would say, he looked pretty excited, like he leaned forward, he's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I took that as like one of the best reactions we've had for anything, yeah.
So we planted that seed, and hopefully we can get some results there. I'm gonna check in with him again during Mako in a couple of weeks in Ocean City. See if we might get some help, some state support for that.
So
That would be great.
I missed, I guess, the first part out north, you know, tell me what it is.
Well, I was trying to wait for you, so that is the estimate that Randy got from that terra firma. the contractor, to redo.
They did Berlin's.
Yeah, they're the guys who did Berlin's. So you have three numbers there. The first one's the basic basketball court. The second one would be, I think, traditional striping. And then the third one would be, the second and third number are in addition to the first number. The third number would be sort of that crazy colorful one that they have.
Colorful.
Yeah, but I mean, that's neat. That's what that, so that would be, you know what I mean? So, but I thought we just broke off onto, we talked about, well, do we want to spend all the money on the basketball court if water could damage it? That's all. And then we start talking about the Bird Park as a whole, the basketball courts being almost like the end game, like fixing Bird Park, so then we could have better like recreational facilities, you know? But I don't.
And according, again, keeping the process moving, keeping the project on track. We do have money in the budget, right? If we're going to consider a relocation to more solid ground, not the best, but more solid ground than where it is now, we could start that process if we thought we had the ability to follow up with the construction project afterward. And next year, I understand, we're eligible for the open space grant again, that could actually get the thing built. Right?
Correct. And you know, what if, I don't know, you know, conceivably, if they built it up, I don't know, in another spot over towards Hall Park Road, I don't know if that's better. I mean, if they're building an entire new thing anyway, I mean, maybe they could raise it up, you know, it could be, you know, I mean, I'm sure there's a solution, you know,
That's what I said to the chief last,
gotta be some kind of solution.
looking at it like a raised court.
Somehow, I don't know how high they could go or what we'd be able to afford, but I mean, I'm sure the engineers will throw that out there too. That's what they-
You could remember, if you go back to when this was discussed at the budget, I was excoriated when I made the suggestion about moving, but it's a reality. And I think what I'm hearing is addressing that reality.
It was wrong.
Yeah, but what I'm hearing is addressing that reality. It's one of those political ramification discussions. You know, 27 years, you know, in the promising, and now we want to come back and talk about some more promises. So, you know, it's a political decision. You know, bottom line, it's a bottom line. I'm calling like I've seen it.
Yeah, I guess from my understanding from the guy from DNR, that those courts that are there now were done, they were paid for by the DNR, whatever, 26 years ago. We're just waiting to be able to pre-work on them again, because that's that's what they're guaranteed.
That's the open space.
Yeah, that was for that, for the community.
So
park.
how much money can we get out of?
Well, right now, we're waiting for 300 grand for some bathrooms so that people can have decent lavatory at Sturgis Park. So,
So we
and
can,
I looked at the Board of Public Works agenda, because they have a meeting tonight too, and there's some big projects on there.
okay,
200 something thousand, 300 something thousand. So I've been looking at all little projects. I've been getting worried that our bathrooms would roll. But now looking tonight, they have some big, so DNR got some money this year. Yeah, next year.
okay.
Everybody crossed their fingers and toes.
Yes,
Everything.
absolutely. That's what we need to do. Well, thank you for all that.
Yeah, I mean,
Information,
whatever I
research,
do.
appreciate it a lot. So, thank you. Okay, comments from the public? We do not have. And comments from council, Councilperson Fletcher? Any comments?
No, but thank you guys for working so hard for what we have here. And hopefully we're finally, you're getting in the home stretch with your dad. And maybe you'll be able to.
Finally.
Maybe your Reynolds and you'll be able to take care of that. Thank you, Randy.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Councilperson Lumpkins.
I really appreciate all the work, John. Appreciate you coming here tonight and talking to us. Yeah, I'm thankful for all the information you give us. I know you all working hard and I'm trying.
Yep, good, good. Councilperson Lee.
Yeah, great guys, good job. But I got a question for you. I don't really understand what's taking place with the pipes and all that stuff that I would like to get to understand. Can you help me with that? Can we go down there one day? I don't want to take, no big rush. anything. I just need a better understanding of, so I'm gonna ask you to help me with that, okay?
I will show you one day when the weather is right, the tide is right and all, and I will show you the actual pipes themselves, the lines. But I'll have to call you when I know it's gonna be like,
Okay,
then you can see.
just have to wait for the rain up on 203. Okay, I got it. When you say it, I know it'll happen. I guess the other question I have, where are we in terms of what are we gonna have to do with this decision on this basketball court thing? What all?
Like I said, I think we have to wait to see, as far as, redoing the basketball courts, I thought we were waiting to see what the engineers were gonna say about potentially trying to reduce or get a handle on some of the flooding, which is involved with all the pipes and stuff.
And I'm rather slow. I just want to put it so.
So I guess we didn't wanna put, what's the phrase, put the cart before the horse, like, we don't wanna build an awesome basketball court and then have it flooded 4 days a month, because it could crack, and especially in the winter, if it freezes and, thaws. So I think we were just trying to, I guess we need, I don't really know. I would say if we were gonna try and put a basketball court in there, we would need the engineers to say, this is the best place, and this is how we can sort of put a basketball court in here. That's gonna be a little more
Is
flood.
that asking our engineers that
Yeah.
just got hired?
I would imagine. They're looking at now the study that was done by our old engineers, DBF. So our new engineers have the old study, which is only like 4 years old, I guess. It's a couple years before I came here. But I don't think they've had an opportunity yet to address that with everything else that's been going on with sewers and wastewater and wells and, right, generators and.
The highest place in that part that gets the least flooding, is in the area where the dog pen is. The pine trees are in there, and they're closer to Market Street. That is the least flooding place in the whole park, from our place all the way up. But that's still, I've seen the water all the way across the road, across Market Street. And I know y'all have too. Y'all live here many years.
Okay, getting back to comments, I went to the Bikeways and Pedestrian Safety Coalition meeting today down at Shad. That's why I was looking at, they were talking about getting a new marina and getting new, they're not expanding, they're just replacing what they have, but, it's coming up this year.
I'm gonna ride in there and do it.
Yeah, that's, and they were, they toured, you know how we broke ground? Remember we broke ground at Shad Landing, and we're gonna have a trail that connects to Summerfield Trails? Do you remember that? When I first came on council, the governor came, Governor Hogan then, and so they have started on it. They cut about a mile. It's very marshy, and so they have to they built a walkway, and that's very nice. They have an old section and they have a newer section, and we went on that today. But they have the money, and they will continue with the trail, building a trail to Summerfield Trails, Dighton Avenue. So that's coming up. It may not be done for a couple years. That's what I want to hear, but they're working on it and they have the money. So I just wanted to update everybody with that. Okay, all right. Do we have a motion to?
Sorry, can I share just one bit of?
Sure.
This of interest to some people, I guess. We've always had our, since George Miles and Bjorn's come on board, we have set the first Thursday of the month for their monthly progress meeting, which normally would be tomorrow. Their principal is on vacation this week, so it's been rescheduled to next Tuesday on the 12th at 11.
Thank you.
I didn't want you showing.
I wanted to say something about them, I've said nothing, but I appreciate that. What's
It's
the date?
Tuesday at 11, August 12th. And that'll be over at the annex building.
Okay, that's good information. Thank you. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Meeting is adjourned.
You never put aside.